Good morning. Today is Sunday, December 7th, and my name is Kristen. I go by Knit and Craft on the internet and here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the usual. This is my digital knitting diary, and it follows kind of the traditional knitting podcast. We'll talk about what I'm wearing, what I'm working on, my finished objects. We'll do maybe a little life update. And I feel like today is going to be a relatively short episode, even though I have a lot done. The layout's changed a little bit, so don't be alarmed. I did do a little bit of rearranging of my furniture, so everything's the same. It's just in a different spot. And I feel like anywhere that I film this in my office, I'm backlit. Or you're staring at dog toys. So I'm not sure if we'll continue doing the podcast in here. I'll have to watch this back during editing and then decide. We might have to do it in the kitchen. Or I think that would be the only other location we could. But excuse me. Anyway, let's get into it. We'll start off with what I'm wearing. So this is my Traveler hoodie by Andrea Mowry. I knit this last year sometime, and it is done in Sweet Georgia Tough Love sock in the color charcoal, and this contrasting color is Wonderland yarns. It was in our local yarn shop colorway for local yarn shop day, so I think it was just called LYS Surprise. All of this information is on my Ravelry, and it is pilling, but that's kind of just what Tough Love Sock does. I find it pills and fuzzes up quite a bit in the beginning, and then it doesn't do it as much. So I'm kind of just waiting for this initial pill to happen. It's going to get a little bit fuzzy, but it's held up relatively well, and I like this Traveler a lot. It has really great drape. I made size 4 for my gauge to get size 2 measurements. So I generally have to adapt patterns to the gauge that I get or I want, and then just make a bigger size and make modifications from there. I did lengthen it both in the body and in the sleeves. I don't know if Andrea Mowry's samples are just like they have much longer drops or whatever, but I always have to lengthen her sleeves. I also don't like them when they're up here. I want them closer to mid palm. For me personally, that's just more comfortable. Okay, so I think I've said enough about this. I really enjoy it. I wear it all the time. It's very, very cozy. It's super cold here in Maryland. So I have quite a few finished objects to show you. And then I have to go get my whip because I don't have it, and I don't actually know where it is. So we'll figure that out. All right. Let's do it. So probably the most exciting thing that I have finished is my pressed flowers cardigan. So all of the ends are woven in. It's been blocked. I will put this on, but it's still a little damp, so I'm not going to wear it for a long time. But I don't know about you guys, but when I weave in my ends, I like to leave them until after it's blocked, and then I cut them. So that's why there's still ends hanging off. I wait until it's completely dry so that if there's any shifting in the fabric, nothing pokes out. Yeah, I think I'll go put it on. Well, let me show you what buttons I'm thinking first, and then I will put it on. So I hope you can see this. I really wanted to go with something super I'll put in a picture if that was not sufficient, but I wanted to go with something super basic so that it doesn't take away from the cardigan. Since it's such a loud or fun pattern, I didn't want the buttons to take away from it. I do know that some people use little flowers, and I think that's super cute, but for something so neutral, I think the basic dark black buttons are the way to go. But let me know your opinions. I'm gonna put this on, so I'll pop off camera really quick. So this is my pressed flowers completely done. I'll get a little close up, and I'll try and get a far away too, so that you can see it in its entirety. I think it turned out really well. It's definitely still a little damp. But I think it turned out really, really well. Let me take this off. Now I think we can properly talk about it. Okay, so here it is, completely finished except with the buttons not sewn on yet. And again, just for a refresher, I know I've talked about this a million times. The yarn I use, this brown main color, is the Jill Draper Make Stuff Barstow in the color Black Walnut. The contrasting color is Juniper Moon Patagonia Organic Merino in the color Light Gray. And I used a mohair to hold with the Jill Draper, and that was Barocco Ariel mohair in the color, I think it was 3175, but it's just their dark brown color. So one last time, I will pop in a picture of it with the buttons, because I do think I'm going to give this as a gift. So if you've been here since the beginning, you know the saga. And I do apologize. I keep swiveling. It's just like a nervous tick I do. I normally have a stationary chair, so I don't do that, but I will try to not do that because I know it can be annoying. The person that I was going to give this to, I was speaking to her in conversation a couple months ago, maybe a month ago. We were having dinner, and she was talking about how she likes almost every color except for the color brown. And she didn't know I was making this for her. So it was kind of just a surprise. I was thinking a really dark chocolatey brown is just like a basic neutral that everyone should have in their wardrobe. But after hearing her say that, I said, ooh, maybe not. I'm not going to give this to her. I want it to be something that she'll wear and that she'll enjoy and not just take, because she knows how much time and effort go into knitting a garment, since she's also a knitter. So I pivoted and I decided to take the buttons off of my Fidalgo cardigan that I've already finished this year. That was the Fidalgo cardigan, was a test knit for Mishi Fraz knits that I knit earlier in the year, and I just really haven't worn yet. It wasn't cold enough, and it's just not something that I necessarily gravitate to. It's like a pinky color, which I think is really her vibe, and I thought, okay, that's perfect. So I was going to reblock it, put new buttons on it, and just kind of go from there. Kind of fix up the buttonholes a little bit, maybe do like decorative edging with a crochet hook around that, and that's what I was going to give her for Christmas. Well, she's on a picture of the pressed flowers cardigan. She's like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. And I was like, well, I thought you didn't like brown. She was like, oh, I was just making a funny. So maybe she'll get this, maybe she won't. I have become quite attached to this thing, something that I thought I would never wear ever. And now I've really grown to love it. I think it's beautiful, and I don't know if I want to let it go anymore. I don't know. So we'll see if it stays in my wardrobe or if it makes it to her. I might just let her make the decision if she'd rather have the Fidalgo or the pressed flowers. It blocked beautifully. I think the proportions are actually perfect. It hits me exactly where I like it, on my, like the middle of my hand, perfectly on my hips. So I don't know. I really, really, really love it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever knit. I struggled through it. Mosaic knitting's just not my favorite thing in the world, even though I do it all the time. The socks that I just made, I do it all the time. But it's not my favorite technique for whatever reason. I just think it takes a long time, which it does, but the results are worth it in the end. And I highly recommend anybody that's on the fence about knitting this, just do it. Who cares if it takes you a year to make? Like, it's worth it. It'll be something you can keep for a very long time, or even pass down if you choose to do that. So very much worth it. The next thing I have to show you is something you've never seen. Oops, never seen before. So it's just a basic hat. And so I knit this like 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago. And I made it for Mr. Craft, and he said, "Oh, it's too short. I don't like it." And I was just irritated. So I threw it in the hat bin. No one ever wore it. And I had a whole nother skein of this yarn. So I caked up that skein this week, and I ripped back the hat and just knit a couple more inches on it. So what I did, which I would never do this now, but this is what I did back in the day. I cast on 120 stitches. I did a 1x1 rib, which I actually had really great tension. This has not been blocked. And then I went straight, I did, I don't know, what's that? About 5.5, 6 inches of 1x1 rib. And then I went into a 4x1 rib. Interesting, because these don't line up. But what that does is creates a perfect line for flipping the hat up, like flipping the brim up. So I do kind of like that. Anyway, I just carried on, and then my decreases, I split it into 6 sections of 20 stitches and did a knit 2 together SSK, keeping the purl bumps. All of this information is on my Ravelry. Until I got to 12 stitches, and then I just did a knit 2 together all the way around. So it's got a very gentle beanie-like slope to it, instead of like that taper, that long taper that a lot of hats nowadays have. And I do like it. He likes it. This yarn is the Fiber Seed Sprout DK. It's got dog hair all over it. Like I said, I haven't washed this yet. Sprout DK in the color Partly Cloudy. And I'm very happy that this is now a functional hat, and he does like this a lot more. So it's a win. My final finished object is actually 12 finished objects. So maybe you recall, or maybe you don't recall, but I was making gnomes for my mom for a Christmas Advent calendar. I know that sounds absolutely insane, but I'll explain a little bit more as I start pulling the gnomes out. Need a sip of water. So the first gnome I knit, most of these patterns are from the Gnomes of Grimblewood by Imagine Landscapes book. Her name is Sarah Schira, but I will put that on the screen along with like maybe a picture of the book. So the first gnome I made was the first gnome in that book, and I believe his name is Noodles. So he's just a little tiny gnome, and I thought he was adorable. But that small circumference knitting on DPNs was kind of hurting my hands, so I decided I was going to mix it up and do a little bit of crochet as well to save my hands. And so what I did was I looked online, looked for cute patterns, and I came across the Passionate Crafter, blog, and I saw this Christmas tree gnome, And so I had to have him. So he was the second gnome that I made. And I think he turned out super cute. So then I continued on through the Gnomes of Grimblewood book, and I made this one, who I believe his name is Gnarly, has a little cable motif on his body and no arms. Then this is where the order gets a little wonky. I started knitting this one. This one's Natalia, also from the book. It has a cute little tassel. And the Valentine's Day gnome, because I want her to be able to not just use this at Christmas, to put these gnomes out whenever she wants to. So I've got a little Valentine's Day gnome. And then, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. We've got this pocket gnome. I do not remember his name. I'll put his name on the screen. And I made this little turkey gnome. Again, all of the crochet gnomes are Passionate Crafter. All of the knit gnomes are Imagine Landscape. I think this is, oops, his arms are wonky. Here we go. This is Nolan. I love his curly Q. And then I think I made this pumpkin gnome, for being honest. I'm going to steam all of these before I give them to her. But they're kind of just waiting for the advent calendar to get made. So pumpkin gnome. Another cabled gnome, but a cabled hat gnome. Another pom-pom. And then we got ear flap gnome. I think his name is Naughty. And then finally, I was over making gnomes at this point. So I just made another little gnome with a different type of beard. So I just reimagined Noodles a little bit with a different beard. And that's all 12 gnomes. So once I was finished with the gnomes, I had to get started on the advent calendar. So I cut out some foam core. I cut out some foam core and made these little boxes. And then yesterday I was experimenting with how I'm going to do the doors. So as you can see, everybody has their own little nook. And I can kind of go through this a little bit with you. But essentially, they all fit in one of these cubbies. And where's the Christmas tree? That's the one I want. Christmas tree will go like right here. And I've kind of mapped it out so it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's like all over the place, so it's a little interactive. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a piece of paper, and it kind of fits into, oops, it's hard to do when I'm not directly on top of it. It kind of fits in like this, and then it'll have like a Christmas sticker that holds it like that, and she'll just rip the Christmas sticker and be able to pop this out. It'll have the number on it. This will be 12. This will be the last one. It's the only one that's shiny. Everything else will be various shades of like white, red, green, and cream, kind of tying it all together. Because the paper is this little truck paper. I think that's all I have to say about it. So yeah, all of these will be covered, held together by a little Christmas sticker, and it will have the number of the day that she's supposed to take it. So like 1, I think that's 2, and then that's 12. I don't know. I'll show a picture of it once it's done. This is what I'm going to work on today after I clean up my living room, put away all of our clean clothes, and put up our Christmas tree. So it's kind of a big day today, but after I get done with that, I'm going to work on this exclusively until it's done. But I'm super excited. I think this turned out really, really good, and I really hope that she likes it. I think she will. And I was thinking about making out of wood. I came out with quite a few ideas, but the one that stuck with me was the particle board, because she doesn't, or not particle board. It's not particle board. It's foam core, the foam board, like what you would do science fair projects on, because she doesn't have to keep it. She can recycle it. Everything's recyclable. All of my paper is recyclable, and my wrapping paper, I only use the craft paper wrapping paper. It's printed craft paper, so it's 100% recyclable. It's not that shiny stuff, even though it's really, really pretty and I love it. We try and keep it a little bit of eco-friendliness even at Christmas time over here. And I put a little ribbon around the outside to hide the edges, and this is washi tape that has the image of like Christmas balls on it. So like Christmas baubles, I don't know exactly what they're called. We just call them ornaments, Christmas balls. Anyway, so that is my advent calendar. That's the update I have on that. And we'll quickly go through my socks, right? We were talking about the socks that I was going to have in testing probably by Thanksgiving. That didn't happen because this gnome idea just sprung out of nowhere, and I needed to work on that. So I haven't done anything with my socks. I do have the pattern mostly written. I need to go through it, tech edit it, and then I will get it out. But because it's the holidays, there's no rush, and I don't have a time frame or a design date I have to get this done by. So it'll get out when it gets out. We're going to be traveling for the holidays soon, and it probably won't happen before then. And I want people to enjoy their Christmas and their holiday season. So I don't really want to put this out and cause like pressure on them either. So when it happens, and that's it. So no update. I mean, I guess that's an update, but no real update on the socks. Remember, those are my check yes socks. And then I only have one whip currently on my needles, and that is, if you know what this is, you're a real OG, because I haven't talked about this in months. And this is my Camisole number 5, 9, one of them. Anyway, this is her. This is she. And it's just stockinetting around. The reason why I don't work on this, and if we're going to be so for real, it's because of this needle. It, no matter how much I tighten it with the key, don't come for me, I use the key, it won't stay tightened. It won't. And I don't know why. I don't have other needles to use. So I don't work on this because it just irritates me. And it frustrates me that I can't get into a rhythm because it's always coming unscrewed. I could buy new needles, but that also frustrates me because I have perfectly good needles that just aren't working. So that's why this isn't done. And maybe I'll just switch over to magic loop, because I can magic loop pretty quickly, and just do it that way, because I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy working on it because every round I have to tighten it, or it's catching my stitches, which I really, really don't like. I am knitting this on 3.0 millimeter needles. I have never had this issue with any other Chaigu needles that I have. I have all of my needles, essentially, are at least all of my interchangeables are this brand. I have never had an issue with any other needle. It's just this one. But it is really frustrating. And I am knitting from, it's gone. I know what it is. Oh, it's Knitting for Olive, the regular merino. It's not the cotton merino. It's just their like normal merino. This is so awkward. Like, why don't I know the name of the yarn? Yeah. Okay. So this is Knitting for Olive, just the regular merino in the color black. And I don't dislike working with this yarn. It's fine. It honestly really reminds me of Cascade Heritage, but it's not as smooth, if that makes sense. I'm going to keep working on this and we'll see. I've made approximately an inch of progress in the last day. No, that's more than an inch and a half of progress. So pat myself on the back there. And I'm just going to keep going. I think I need like 14 inches in the body. And we'll get there eventually. So this is what I'm working on right now. I do have plans to cast on other things. I just haven't gotten there yet. I don't know exactly what I want to cast on. I'm really waiting for Michi Fraz to release her Fidalgo pullover knit, or test knit, and hope I get selected for that because I really want to make that. And I know exactly what yarn I want to use. I want to use my West Yorkshire Spinners BFL fleece in the color Marine. That's the yarn I was using for my Midland cardigan that I ripped out. So I would really, really, really like to knit that pullover in that color. I think it would be stunning. So I think that's all I have today. It's a short episode. If you guys watched my yarn stash video, you will know that I did go through all of my yarn. Let me pop this down. Anyway, if you saw my yarn video, you know that I went through all of my full skeins of yarn and I was a little overwhelmed by it, but I have sat in it for about a week and I'm actually very, very happy with my stash. Everything has a purpose and I don't feel overwhelmed anymore at all. I think I was more overwhelmed with the fact that if you had asked me prior to me filming that video how many skeins of yarn I had, I would have very confidently said between 70 and 80. And to get to a final number of 144 was eye-opening and kind of surreal to me because that's almost double. Like, I couldn't believe it. But looking through what I have, I'm very excited to use most of it, and it has a purpose. So it's okay. It's okay. And I feel a lot better about the way I know what I have now. It's cataloged. And the really great thing was I was able to go through after finishing my pressed flowers. I cracked into another skein of the Jill Draper and I cracked into my last skein of the Barocco Ariel. So I was able to take those off of my full skeins and just record the remaining weights. So I do feel like quite good about where I am with my stash, and I like how I have my scraps organized. One day I'll go through, I'll weigh everything and put those in my tracker as well, but I got to get my fiber done first. It's just baby steps as I navigate through what works best for me and my lifestyle. So I do feel a lot better. And thank you for everybody that encouraged me through that, because I definitely, watching it back, was like, oh wow, the overwhelm is real, but I feel great about it now. All right, I think I'm going to end it. Thank you for watching. Please tell me what you're working on or what you would like to accomplish before the end of the year. Right now, I'm kind of just existing off of vibes, and wherever the wind takes me is where I'm going to go. And this may be the last podcast episode before the end of the year. Hopefully I'll get another one in, but it really just depends on what I'm doing, what I'm working on. If I actually get to it, then that's great. And if I don't, that's okay too. I will see you in the new year. But there will definitely be other videos that I plan to make. We're going to do a stash update part 2 where we really go through my my spreadsheet and I'll show you what I have, and then I can tell you exactly what I did in case you want to replicate it. We're going to go through all of my fiber, which is not nearly as much as I had for yarn and should not be shocking. We're also going to talk about all of my socks that I have knit and sorting through those. What am I going to keep? What am I going to get rid of? What am I going to donate? Stuff like that. And then hopefully I will have a project vlog where we're going to go fix one of my sweaters that I absolutely love, but the arms are too short. So we're going to go in, and it's using my hand spun, so we can talk about my hand spun a little bit. And hopefully I get that out within the next couple of days because I have everything filmed. I just need to put it all together. So at least one more video before the end of the year, but this may be the last podcast. So I just really want to say I appreciate every single one of you for watching these. I do this because I really like watching them back myself during editing. Mostly, I've never like just gone on the computer and watched one, but during editing, I watch it back. And I will say, like, I do struggle with self-image and that little demon inside of my head that says, like, you're not productive enough, you're not good enough, whatever. And then just a little bit of just overall general anxiety. And watching what I say back about myself and about my space has been really eye-opening. And I think I'm being a lot more kind to myself because I see the way I judge myself while editing, and I would never judge anyone else like that. I love watching these podcasts, and I would never think anything that I think about myself about other people. So having that, like, I get to take a step back and I get to watch myself be unkind to myself is actually helping. You know, I said how my office was such a mess so many times during that vlog. And then I'm watching it and it is kind of a mess. Yeah, but I would not think twice about that when watching someone else's video. So I think this is really cathartic, and it's helping me like unpick some of these nasty habits that I have. And I hope that this continues to help with that so I can be a little bit more kind to myself in the new year and not be so judgmental about myself, really, because I'm not doing this with anybody else. It's just me. So I guess if you're watching and you've thought about doing this, I would say do it. It doesn't matter if no one watches this. You know, I have a core group of people that watch my videos and nobody really else does, and that's okay. I enjoy doing this. And if you would enjoy doing this, you think it would help you, I really, really, really encourage you to pick up a camera, even if it's just your phone, and just start recording because it's awesome. It's awesome seeing what I've accomplished this year. I haven't been great about recording, and it doesn't matter. I have a digital diary of everything that I've made this year. I have it on film about my initial reactions, about my reactions further along now that I've been wearing that item, or if I haven't been wearing that item. And I think that this is invaluable. So thank you again for watching me ramble. I have a hard time getting through my words sometimes, and I'm definitely a little bit all over the place other times. But I just appreciate you being here and listening to me and encouraging me And I would love to know, what are you working on this holiday season? What are you excited about? What are you going to do in the new year? Do you have any goals? Please introduce yourself and let me know what's going on in your life. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.